What's going What's going on, guys? I'm Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. I'm here with Coach Fred and my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let you guys know that Twin P is official liquor, the Common Man Podcast. Bottoms up, Twin P, best. Gotta drink some more.
What's up? What's up? Again, I had a connection issue. Want to make sure we get that straight because we got a top-notch show for y'all. Top-notch show for y'all. But as we do with every show, we want to thank our sponsor, as you can see right there, Common Man. And you know what we do? Before we start the show, we toast the show. Here's to a good show. Let's get into it. As we know what the Common Man Podcast is about. Common Man Podcast is about bringing awareness to what it is that we're trying to do in the HBCU community. We're going to talk football, and we're also going to talk life. We're going to talk health. As you saw on the header today, we got a first rounder on tap. We got a doctor who started his humble beginnings at an HBCU. So as soon as he gets in, we're going to talk about it. We're going to kick the show off, man. We're just going to talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend with Eddie George, moving on from Tennessee State to Bowling Green. Just some of the topics, some of the people that we've kind of talked to about it, reading all of the stuff. They are a little disturbed, with Coach moving on. No job is a set job. I just like to say, if you are not coaching at what they consider a top-notch blue blood program, if you're not at, say, a Notre Dame, and even that's kind of sketchy when you're talking in college football, if you're not at one of those programs, I think every job is a stepping stone. So why would Tennessee State be any different? That's kind of funny about it is that Coach really didn't want to coach in the beginning. If people really want to be real about it, Coach turned the job down several times, and they basically had to usher Coach into the situation to where he, finally went ahead and decided to take on the head coaching job. Coach did a great job of surrounding himself with assistant coaches who have been in the business, and I think that's the big thing about it. When we have all the, I hate to use the word celebrity hire, because at the end of the day, I'm a celebrity. Ain't nobody hired me to be a head coach just yet. But, all jokes aside, any coach that takes on the responsibility, I hope that they take on the responsibility with all seriousness. And that's one of the situations that came up. And I think Coach George did that. He surrounded himself with top-notch guys on his staff. And they came in, they did a great job. They built a program, and he moved that program forward. Coach ended up, I think his ending record was 27-24, something like that. Got a playoff berth this past year. So, he put in his dues, worked really hard, got a late opportunity. I don't want to go into all of the situation of what is really going on at Tennessee State when we're talking about the financials and things like that, which kind of went into his decision to move on. But, again, we want to wish Coach luck. Yes, he did start at HBCU. Yes, he is a Hall of Famer. Yes, that was his first time coaching. He did a great job. And as I've always said, I'm always going to root for those first-time head coaches, because at some point, even your favorite head coach had to become a first-time head coach to become a head coach. And we got to start thinking about that a little bit more. with some seriousness. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. Like I said, we got two guests. One guest is going to come on real quick, kind of talk to us about the part that, I don't think we really look into. And then we're going to get into the meats and gravy of the program with our second guest. So again, without any further ado, we're going to bring on Dr. Bookhardt. Are you with me? Can you hear me, Doc?
Let's see. Okay, there we go, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, Doc. How are you?
Oh man, we making it, brother. We blessed and highly favored.
That's all we can do, man. Dr. Bookhardt, MD, MBA. Want to make sure we give you your just due on all that. Doc is a graduate of Oakwood University, where he got his Bachelor of Science in Biology. Got his degree, another degree from St. Matthew's School of Medicine, MBA, and Healthcare Management, Davenport University. Completed his residency at Family Medicine, the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Coach, I didn't know this. This sounds like my resume, Coach. I didn't know you were active member.
What'd you say, brother?
I say, this sounds like my resume. I didn't know you were an active member of the Honor Society and National Honor Society of Leadership and Success. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Nah, I ain't in there, man.
Absolutely.
Certified by the American Board of Family Medicine. Doc, I thank you. Appreciate you for coming on, man. Give the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you for having me on, Coach. And we got the call from my frat brother, Dr. Fred Kinsey, one of the distinguished all-core knights up there. And so, man, happy to answer the call and be a part of this great show with you. Did a little bit of research and found out what exactly you were all about. I love the cause, and so, but yeah, we're here, man. Been in Mississippi 12 years. I can't believe it. Did my residency training at UMC. Currently working for Medicare right now in a new position. And yeah, man, just happy to serve. We also have a podcast called Telehealth Tuesday, which I'm certainly extending the invitation to you to be on as well. So happy to be here.
Definitely gonna be there. I missed you at that last Alpha Chi Honor Society meeting. I didn't see you there, but next time I'll make sure I come tap you on the shoulder.
Okay.
When in those meetings.
Absolutely.
Doc, on the serious side of things, Doc, man, here in Mississippi, when we talk about Florida, we talk about Texas, and we talk about just football overall. As we're getting into spring seasons and we're heading into the summer season, summer workouts, we hear about it every year where someone from some type of complication, heat, overexertion, whatever. And I kind of want to bring you and just kind of talk about some of that as far as what we can do as players, what we can do as coaches to kind of stay healthy and be ready to go come fall, all the way through the summer.
Well, absolutely. One of the best things you can do is try to stay hydrated. All the time we see that time and time again, year after year, where athletes will come in, football players, especially in those that are outside playing outdoor sports, and sometimes the coaching staff alike, that they will come into the emergency department and completely dehydrated or having a complication called rhabdomyolysis, which is usually something that we can easily treat with just a ton of IV fluids, but occasionally it can lead to renal failure, which is damage to your kidneys. And then in severe cases, in extremely severe cases, can actually lead to somebody going into end-stage renal disease, requiring temporary dialysis. So yeah, the main thing would be, especially in these summer months, approaching summer, is to stay hydrated, and also especially knowing that African Americans can still get skin cancer. That's something that we talked about on Roland Martin's show almost a couple years ago, and he wanted to highlight the fact that African Americans are seeing a rise in the incidence of skin cancer. And so we think that just because we have an abundance of melanin, that completely protects us from the sun's harmful rays, and it does not. And so you want at least an SPF 30, maybe, or higher at least, but at the very minimum, SPF 30. You want to put that all over yourself if you're going to be in the sun directly exposed for greater than 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. So I don't use that, Doc, but I'm a long sleeve guy. My kids always say I'm all out because I'm out there in the long sleeves. I got the sweats on, so I didn't know that, but that's great information because that's what we're talking about here, and that's why we're doing it. And then the other part, Doc, to speak to the fact of, as I talk to you off camera, having guys in the business, friends in the business, to fall out at practice, to have those type of issues as the coach. How important is it for males that look like you and me, but just people in general, to go in their off time, to go talk to doctors, see doctors, get blood works, do all the screenings, health screenings, and things like that? Man, how important is that going forward when you're in the exercise type business?
Well, absolutely. That's a great question. And you always, even just regular people, or when I say regular non-athletes, want to have an annual exam. That's a thing that the U.S., that CMS and, the United States is really pushing for. And also Medicare, now that I'm working for them, something called value-based care, in which
let's see, coach is traveling, so let's hope he gets back to that. Just
Can you hear
remember
me?
where he.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. You dropped out on value-based care.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think we were kind of, I tried to. I'm usually don't do podcasts from the phone, but I know it was early. We didn't want to be late logging on, but so I'm trying to make sure we don't get interrupted here. But you can hear me just fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So value-based care, meaning that everybody needs an annual exam. That's even, excuse me, regular people, of course, in Medicare, we're talking about seniors or usually folks 65 and over, but especially for athletes and the team and people like that, when it comes to annual physical exam, because there's a lot of things, most kids that are in high school and college age are going to be healthy. Their blood work's going to be fine, their blood pressure, different things like that. But occasionally we do catch, kind of some red herrings and some things that are kind of strange, such as a heart murmur here and there. And each and every one of those does need to have an echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound, of the heart, so that you can take a look at the valves, take a look at the ejection fraction, which is the squeezing capability of the heart, and you can look at the direction in which the blood is pumping throughout the heart, because you want to make sure that there's no kind of serious defect or something that could even be surgical, or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is an enlarged heart that led to, if anybody's old enough to remember, Reggie Lewis of the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
I think he might have been playing against my favorite team, Chicago Bulls. I can't, but I don't know. But Reggie Lewis, unfortunately, man, he fell out right there in the game and later was pronounced deceased. And he had hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So it's so important to have that annual physical exam. Get your blood work done. Like I said, everybody, but especially these athletes that are going to be operating in abnormal conditions, really pushing the body to the max, especially those that are playing outside, tennis players, football players, baseball players, even golfers, because there's an extreme demand on the body, a higher oxygen demand and consumption than usual. And you're also sweating profusely as well, since you're playing outside.
I appreciate that, Doc, and that's one of those things that when we bring you back, we'll get into more. And with that, as you said, I know you got a hard out. how can they find you and how can they tap into your podcast on Tuesday?
Well, you can go to Dr. B TV, the word Doctor, DOCTOR, the letter B is in boy TV on YouTube. Please like, share, follow, and most importantly, click subscribe. We're there every Tuesday, God willing, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have different guests each and every Tuesday. Last night, we had Miss Jasmine Briscoe, an amazing licensed massage therapist and lymphatic drainage specialist. We've had all kind of guests on there, from comedians, doctors, lawyers, everyone. And so, of course, and we're going to have, we'll be blessed to have yourself on there. And we've got some amazing things lined up. So that's Dr. B TV on YouTube.
Appreciate it, Doc. And we will have you back. We're going to work out the contract with Fred. Fred's going to pay you to have you on here once a month at least.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Dropping knowledge and the whole nine. And just thank you. I know you had a lot going on. I double on the side as a doctor, and our schedules are very, 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 very tight. I understand that. So thank you very much. And we'll be back in touch with you.
Absolutely. And look, and again, I'm glad to be here, brother. And good luck to you and the team. I want to get some, I still haven't been able to come to the yard yet, man. Because look, they said it's one way in and one way out. They said if you're not on the road by 4:30 in the morning, you need to forget it. So I need to get some VIP. I need to jump in the car with you, man, and so I can come up there and cheer you guys on, man, up there at Alcorn.
Let me tell you one thing, Doc, and you can file it away. My granddaddy told me a long time ago. Believe none of what you hear, and only half what you see.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Doc, we're going to get that lined up. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's do it. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Man, again, some quick information, man, quick tidbit. Hope someone got something from that again. Doc had a heart out, but we'll bring him back on, and we'll have some other doctors lined up to give us some more information as well. But with this next guest, man, I got to get my Rolodex out to give y'all exactly the rundown on this guy right here, man. A phenomenal athlete, even better guy, even better person. All I'm gonna say is 2006 first rounder, Florida boy like myself. So, we're gonna always stand and cheer for them guys right there. So without further ado, man, I want to make sure we bring our guy in. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. But let's bring my guy in, man, Antonio Cromartie. Crow.
What's happening?
What's happening, Crow?
Man, ain't nothing, man. You all right? Everything good?
Everything Gucci, baby. Everything Gucci, man. You know how we do it. I ain't gonna get into too much of that Florida slang, man. We man. But again, I want to say first and foremost, man, thank you for coming on. And we're gonna get into it right now because I know you got a lot of things going on. Florida boy, Tallahassee. Born and raised. Stayed in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
A Seminole. One of the best to do it there. Continued on the tradition of DBU. First round. Jets. 10-year career, 12-year pro career. If I'm reading this correct. Been in the coaching game, Texas A&M. And from there, the accolades, we could go on and on. ACC player, first team, all pro bowler, all that stuff. So with that being said, man, tell the people who we got on here.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, Coach Crow. Nah, it's not Antonio Cromartie. It's Coach Crow.
Coach
But no, man, I appreciate the introduction, man. I'm just, like I say, being on here with you, man, being able to just talk some ball, talk about life, talk about experiences, man, is going to be great for this next hour or so with us, man. I think it's going to be something that uh, that people can sit down and just listen to and try to get some experience from.
Cool, man. Without any further ado, let's start peeling this onion back, bro.
Let's do
Uh,
it.
like I said, born and raised Tallahassee, uh, became a big time college recruit. Decided to stay at the crib, right down the street, couple blocks from home, Lincoln. What kept you there, man? Because you could have went anywhere.
Um, Honestly, I didn't want to go to Florida State. That's what people don't understand. Like Florida State was my dream school, and I didn't want to go there. And the reason I didn't want to go there at first is because the whole thing that was happening with Adrian McPherson and everything, I didn't know the details of everything, and I just felt like the way they did a young black quarterback, I didn't want to be a part of. And that was just me being real. My whole goal, I was trying to go to Michigan. Like it was Michigan or Miami. Those were the two schools. And the reason I didn't actually go to Miami is because Miami dropped me from their recruiting list 2 weeks before my actual OV.
Ooh,
I remember I got the phone call from Coach Solinger and Coach CJ.
ooh.
And they called me and told me Coach Solinger on the phone crying. I was just like, man, it is what it is. There ain't nothing, it's nothing that nobody can do, nobody can say. It's done. You know? Y'all don't want me on the recruiting list. So I said from there, I was like, cool, I'll see y'all during the season. And that really ultimately brought me back to Florida State just because of that.
Because you want to see them do.
I wanted to see them do it, but I also had the other part of that is I had a great relationship with Dion, Samari Rowe, and all those guys. And one of my, I call him my uncle, Corey Fuller, who grew up in South City in Tallahassee. He grew up with my mom and my uncles them. So having that conversation with them and being able to have my mom be able to see me play every single home game, my grandma see me play every single home game. It was just something that was built into it. And man, I think for me, it was just like when Coach Bowden, Coach Mickey Andrews, and Coach Jeff Bowden all came in my house, my grandma was already sold. I don't know what it is, what Coach Bowden did, but my grandma was sold. And me being, born, raised by my grandmother and my mom, I'm going to listen to those two women the most. So, it was like, hey, you'll never get an opportunity to play for your your dream school, your dream team, whatever it may be. This is the only time you get to pick your chance. You get to pick the opportunity where you want to go.
They
And
say
that
once
ultimately made my decision.
they say once Coach Bowden show up, it was pretty much over.
Oh
Uh,
man, Coach Bowden showed up. Coach Bowden coming up, man. He sit down with you, and he give you that good old, that Christian talk. That Bible talking. My grandma, boy, hey, Bible study on Wednesdays, Sunday schools on Sunday, but she's doing everything. So when he came in with that and he just followed his plan, everything that they told me, it happened. I was gonna have to come in and work for my position. It was nothing that was gonna be given to me. I had to work for everything. Um, and people don't even understand this about me being at Florida State. I was basically in the transfer portal twice, from my freshman year and sophomore year. Like I really was. Like I had got my paperwork. I had got everything. I was ready to go.
you leaving.
Um, yeah, I was leaving, and Coach Bowden and Coach Mickey found some way to bring me back. But they just they stayed true to their word. They never promised me anything, and I always felt like I was better than everybody else, even when I came in as a freshman. But I think Coach Mickey always broke it down to me in a way that he always said, "Yeah, you are athletically, but mentally you're not there." And I cannot. He was like, "I cannot have you be a liability just because you have athleticism," and that spoke a lot for me. And that part of it just made me work hard on my technique, understanding the defense and how he wanted me to play, and that just pushed me even more. But it was just that part of the game is something that I really give Coach Andrews and Coach Brown, a lot of credit to, even right now with my coaching. I'm always gonna be truthful. I'm always gonna be try to be understanding of my players. I'm gonna be try to be uh, everything I can be for them because that's what I saw from my coaches, even from high school with T.C. Collins and David Wilson and Coach Rice and all these guys. No, they did. Coach V, who was my DB coach in high school, Like those guys are the ones that really actually help and mold me in being one, the defensive back I need to be, but also the person I need to be too. So those guys always had uh, impacted my life from that standpoint.
Yeah, they said Coach Bowden come in, man, and them hands go like this. It's a wrap. When them hands come together, it's a wrap.
It's
Uh,
a route. It's a route, man.
so you get there, you almost get out of there twice. You end up playing uh, sparely, so to speak. Big minutes though. Your sophomore year, you're gearing up for probably your last year, your junior year, if you go do what you're supposed to do, and
Yeah,
then as he hits, you tear your ACL.
yeah.
And when we get to that point, you're at home, which makes it better, I guess, if you got to look for a bright side of it. You're at home. But just speak to what that process was like.
Well, this is what I want people to understand about my whole college experience. Like we talk about my sophomore year, how I had a big year, played that year, and going to my junior year, being up for the Heisman and for the Thorpe Award, take my ACL 3 weeks before the whole entire camp started. But people don't understand, like, I only had one start my whole college career. And this is what people don't get that. It's like you only had one start your college career. How? You led the team in interceptions, you made first team all ACC. Yeah, I just took advantage of the opportunity that was given to me. And everything that we have is about opportunity. And if you're able to take advantage of that opportunity, you're preparing for it. You're gonna go out and have success. You're not gonna fail because you already prepared yourself to go out there and have success. But going through that process, I'm gonna tell you, it was a very humbling experience when I tore my ACL because at a young age, 19 or 20, 21 years old, everybody's telling you all world. You listen to it, you read your own clippings, you're doing all this certain stuff, and
You six,
you
you
feel like
six
you feel like
months,
you feel
six
like you
months,
can't be touched.
yeah, you 6 months away, really,
Yeah,
realistically, from
I'm
going to
I'm
the.
I'm six. So I told my ACL July 13th, had surgery July 21st. That's yeah. So I'm basically 6 months away from being ready to get ready for that my junior season. That junior season being over, getting ready for the draft, probably being a top 5 pick if I play that year.
That close.
And that close. But tore my ACL, and it was the best. It was the best thing for me. Not saying from a standpoint of a mindset, but it was the best thing of understanding how I'm supposed to approach every single day. Never take anything for granted. Never take anything lightly when you're playing this sport. No messing around doing stupid stuff when you're doing this sport because it's easy for you to get injured, right? But going through that ACL process, it was just I had a mindset, I had a goal set that I was trying to play by the Florida game, which I could have by my junior year. I could have played the Florida game, but they didn't let me play. I tried to play in the ACC championship. They told me no. And then I tried to play in the bowl game against Penn State. They told me no. But by that time, there was a lot of stuff going on back at home. Um, Mom had found some knots in her chest, and I was just like, you know what? I don't even want to take no chance. We already don't have enough money as it is for you to take care of you. If we did have to have surgery, if there was breast cancer awareness, we said breast cancer during that time. Lucky for us, it ended up being just lymph nodes and non-cancer lymph nodes at that point in time. But I made a decision that I was just gonna leave anyway because I just didn't want to take a chance. We didn't have the funds, we didn't have the money, we didn't have nothing.
There's no
So say that again.
I want to make sure everybody understand there was no NIL back then. You know what I mean?
Nah. You had the under the table money, but I still want to know.
If you need it.
But it's just being real, man. I had to make a decision whether or not if I really wanted to come back to school for another 2 semesters, or leave and take my chance on seeing where I land. I wasn't worried about the gearing up part and getting myself ready to go, doing all the testing and all that stuff. That stuff that I did every single day. Um, but it was just a point of not knowing the unknown of whether or not I would be drafted in the first 3 rounds or not. To make sure I could take care of what I need to take care of, family wise. I had just had a son at that point in time. He was about to be 1 years old. So it was just a lot of stuff that I put into perspective for myself, for my family, and I just said, I think it'd be best for me to leave, even though I should come back. I think it'd be best for me to leave.
Because that worst case scenario, you fall third round at worst. You fall third round. And the difference between say first round, third round money, it's probably steep. But they say if you third round, first, second, third round, you're pretty much guaranteed. How many of the years your contract is. So you would at least have that money locked in.
Yeah,
It wasn't about the athletic part of it. It was just worrying about where you go from there. So you decide
yeah.
to make. Um, Now here we are at pro day, all of that stuff. How is that going for you?
It was going good. I mean, even at the combine, I mean, I felt like me being 6.5 months, almost basically 7 months at the combine, being removed from ACL surgery. I mean, I ran 4.45, 4.41 at the combine. Uh, Being 210 pounds as a corner, man, I felt like I did great. Had 11 foot broad jump or 11.1 broad jump, something like that. And had a 38-inch vertical at the combine. So I wasn't worried about the measurements part. And I think I did 19 reps on the bench, as a corner. So, like, I wasn't never worried about the performance part. It was just, for me, it was just like getting teams to understand my situation and how the interview process would go. Talking about defensive scheme, talking about my favorite aspect of the game, being able to uh, present myself in a way that let them know that I'm professionally, I can be a pro and I'm ready to go. I think that's the part where you get into it, where you try to critique yourself on that and try to figure out ways to do that. And I had some great trainers that was basically NFL trainers and or trainers out also that worked for certain teams in the NFL that helped me along the way. That let me understand how to talk, how to present myself to coaches, and be professional when I'm going to go talk to them. Still be myself, but be professional too. So letting my personality still fill the room when I walk in.
And I think that's huge. And I try to convey that to our kids every day about the professional part of it. Nobody's asking you to play the game, but you got to be able to play the game, if that makes sense. So I'm
One
glad
hundred
you.
percent.
This comes. It comes with it. If this is what you say you want to do. AC, this is how you got to do it, and it's up to you if you want to do it or not. This is something you say you want. So you
Yeah.
play that, get it done, figure out how or what works, and go from there. So now we're at draft day. You're still dealing with the thought process of what's going on at home, but we're on draft day. Uh, what is that feeling like? Because you really don't know.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this. I knew who I was getting drafted by.
I mean, you hear this
There
hard
was
stuff.
there
People
was
say,
there was two on draft day. There was two teams I knew I was gonna get drafted by, and that was the Chargers for one, and it was Chicago was the other one. Those were the two teams I knew for a fact that was gonna draft me.
okay,
No if and buts about it. And the way that I knew that is because, usually when you go on your visits to teams, only thing they're doing is showing you the facility, right? They talking to you in the facility, they're doing all that. The DB coach took me to his house. They had a cookout, they had everything. I was the only, I was the only prospect, NFL prospect that left the facility to go with the DB coach to his house, meet his whole entire family, and everything else.
so this is a
This
real
is in
recruiter.
San Diego. This is in San Diego. So I knew that was one of the teams. The second team I knew was Chicago. And just talking with Coach Lovie Smith, talking to Coach Steve Wilkes, uh, the thing that impressed them the most was I gave them turn by turn, street by street directions from Tallahassee Airport to Outback Steakhouse over there that used to be off over there by the Tallahassee Mall. I gave them turn by turn, street by street name, and it directed them directly to the spot. And it was like we've never had anybody do anything like that. If you round in this round, because they were trying to actually move up with Miami. I think Miami has pick 16, and they drafted Jason Allen. So Miami and the Bears, well, the Bears was trying to trade their pick from 23 to 16 to come draft me, but Miami wouldn't do it because uh, Chicago wouldn't tell them who they was trying to draft. Coach Freddie, yeah? Coach, you still there? That's all me. I'm over here looking at the dang on comments, man. Oh man. We back?
Well, I take me back. I don't know if that was you or me. I was over here panicking.
What's up, baby? You back?
I'm back. I'm over here panicking, man. But you get it turn by turn, um, and that was impressive. So before we finish the story, if I'm standing right there at, um, let's say I'm at the stadium, right?
Yep.
I'm at the stadium, Florida State campus. I'm right there at the stadium. Get me to the moon.
Come on, man. You just ride down straight 9 games, dog. You good? Man, you know that. Hey, that's a straight drive. You're gonna pass everything. You're gonna hit that little turn. I forgot the little street where you turn off to, but you're gonna turn off on one street, it's gonna take you straight to the moon. You already know that. I forgot the street name that's right there by the Lindy's.
You said Lindy's. That's all. Let's keep it moving. So we get to uh, pick 10, and the rounds are going. What's in your head? What's your thought process, man?
Honestly, I'm looking at everybody getting drafted, and honestly, I'm telling myself, man, if I know if I'd have played this year, I'd been probably a top 3, top 5. That's just God honest truth. Like that's like everybody saying, everybody talk about, Travis Hunter and all that, but like I would have been the Travis Hunter that year because I would have
Right.
been playing both sides of the ball. People don't even know that I was gonna be starting on offense and starting on defense. So
Going out wide.
that's
Going out wide. A little bit of that X.
Yeah, man. So it would have been fun. Like it was. I mean, it got to the point now where if you even go back and look at the draft stuff, my pro day I did receiver drills and DB drills.
Uh-huh.
So, because nobody really knew what I wanted to do, whether I was gonna play receiver, whether I was gonna play DB.
So was
So
that a
teams was getting me was trying to see if I can be a tweener, if I could play receiver and DB. Whether or not if it didn't work out as a DB, they could have just transferred me over as a receiver.
so was that a thought coming out of Lincoln?
Huh?
Was that your thought coming out of Lincoln?
Man, what? No, my thought coming out of Lincoln was just go play receiver. I didn't switch my position until fall, right before fall camp. I was a receiver coming in.
So you got recruited, which is why you said Jeff. Okay, okay.
I
So
got
you were
recruited as a yeah. So they had me as a receiver DB, but I was told them I was gonna come in as a receiver when I came in that summer. But then after talking to my cousin Gavin, talking to Coach Wilson and Coach TC, from at Lincoln, it was like, Crow, how many 6'2" corners is there? So we did the research on it. It was none. Everybody was 6'1", but there was no 6'2" and a half, damn near 6'3" corners. So I was like, well, it's like, well, now you can be the prototype. Hey, think about.
and
I was like, you got to think about it that way. I said, they was like, you can find a 6'2" receiver anywhere. But how many 6'2", 6'3" corners are there in the NFL that can move like you, can run like you, jump like you, and do other things? And you can return punts, you can return kickoffs. So that made me think, and I was like, you know what? Right before fall camp started, I went up to Coach Bowden, and I went over to Coach Andrews and Coach Jeff Bowden, and asked them, I want to permanently be on the defensive side of the ball.
hmm. Now I know.
So that's honestly how that happened. My cousin Gavin is the one that called me. It's like, bro, you need to switch over to DB. You don't need to play receiver.
Now where was Gal?
Gavin was at UF.
Okay.
Gavin was
So
at UF.
so UF never was a factor.
No, I committed to UF.
Oh snap. Okay, learn
Gavin,
something
no, what? Gavin was my cousin. So this is how it was supposed to go. So it was me, um, Reggie Nelson, Joe Coyne, Amp Hill, um, and I forgot who else it was. It was one other person. We all took our visits together. We
new.
all committed to Florida. We all committed to Florida that night. Like we all committed to Florida that night. Everybody did a solid commitment. Everybody said, "Cool, we all gonna come to Florida. We're gonna do this." On on signing day, I got a phone call. It's my cousin Gavin. He called me. I'm like, "What up, cuz?" Hey, nah, this is Coach Zook. Hey, just want to know if you still coming. Click. I hung up the phone. I'm like, man, I'm thinking to myself, man, what the fuck is this? Like, what's all this? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what the hell is he ain't supposed to be calling me on signing day?
Right, right.
Right? That's a violation, but you calling me from a cousin. So they called back. And I listened to what they say, and I'm talking to them. I'm like, yeah, coach, I'm not signing until 8 o'clock. When I sign, you'll know whether I'm signing here or not. All right. So got off the phone, and I guess they had Gavin call me back. Gavin walked away from me. He was like, cuz, don't come here. Told me just like that. He said, there ain't but a whole bunch of liars. Don't come here.
Oh man.
And I said, all right, cool. And my mom wasn't gonna let me go to Michigan. That was the other thing. My mom wasn't gonna let me go to Michigan because on my in-home visit, they came an hour and a half, almost 2 hours late.
Yeesh.
Yeah, Coach Lord Carr, and my boy Terrell Austin. My boy Terrell Austin apologized to my mom all night because from my understanding, it wasn't his fault. They got in like at 4. I remember I got a phone call at 4 o'clock in the afternoon from there, like 4:30, saying, "Hey, we're in town. We'll be at your house at 6:30, between 6:30 and 7." Cool. They didn't show up to my house like 8:39, like 8:45, 9:15. My mom was livid. My grandma was livid. And my grandma told into the coaches like, y'all think I'm finna let my grandbaby go out there and y'all irresponsible to get here on time when you guys been here since such and such time. And my grandma was livid.
So were they somewhere else, another recruit, or what happened?
No, I was the only recruit in Florida they was recruiting.
Tallahassee ain't that, you know what I'm saying? And
And my grandmother stayed in the Meadows. So if you in the Meadows, you ain't nothing but 12 minutes from the airport.
I was about to say down the street, right? If I'm
We
not mistaken.
down the street. Not even be 12. It might be 8 minutes away from the airport.
And you Michigan.
So
So it's not,
yeah. So it was
man.
just I think they went to a bar, got caught up in time, and that's what happened.
Grandma and Ma didn't cook, did they? Because if I know they were
Oh,
really
you
mad.
know they cook. Now you know they cook.
That's why they were mad.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's,
my grandma cooked. My grandma's like, anybody that come over, you baby, you just let me know when they coming over, and I'll make sure I got dinner made.
that's why
So
they were.
enough. So
So,
enough, man.
so we
But
get the pro track of it. And then you get that call. Now, did you go to the draft, or were you in Tallahassee?
we had the celebration at the moon. I had about 200 people in the moon. The moon, it's Tallahassee, man. My mama know the owner of the moon. She knew everybody. Man, he gave it to us. It's like, here, it ain't gonna do nothing but bring us publicity anyway. So here you go.
They had the cameras in there, the whole
Yeah,
nine.
they had all the cameras in there, man. They had everything,
You can
and it was it was the best experience ever having my whole entire family there. It was just different, man. It was just being able to have everybody there, and then at that time they didn't let you bring a lot of people at the to the draft because I was invited to the draft. I was
right.
invited. It's like, hey, they will fly you, and I think it was like 5 or 6 other people up.
That wasn't gonna work.
No, that wasn't gonna work, man. I gotta have everybody with me, so I declined that, and uh, we reserved the moon and had it for 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, and had the best time of my life with everybody that was there. So I was happy that I was able to share that with everybody and basically all of Tallahassee, because basically all of Tallahassee was invited,
Either inside or outside.
inside or outside. It was everything was inside, but if you outside of it, you part of it.
Hey, so you get that call, right? What is that call? Walk us through that call. You know what I'm saying? You get it. You know the area code. What happens at that point?
I'm gonna tell you, I got 2 phone calls that day. I got one from Dallas. I thought I was going to Dallas. And then the next one I got when they actually Dallas picked Barbie Carpenter. As soon as they picked them, I got the call from San Diego with Coach Marty Schottenheimer. Got on the phone. Coach Marty Schottenheimer was like, "Hey, are you ready to be a Charger?" And I'm like, "Hell!" And I'm on my phone. I'm like, "Hell yeah!" But it's just like, but everybody's screaming in the background, and they can you can hear people. I got a phone call, but everybody's still screaming. Like nothing's come on the jumbotron yet, or let me say on the TV yet. But I'm talking with everybody. It's like 2 or 3 minutes before they come on and announce it. But everybody already knew. Everybody's jumping up and down, screaming. I ain't no get mad at people because I can't hear Coach Marty Schottenheimer on the phone. So I'm trying to tell them to be quiet and talk on the phone with them. But to share that moment with everybody, dude, it was a surreal. It was a surreal moment. It was a moment of gratification, just because the hard work, understanding the journey that I had to take, missing a whole entire year, still being drafted in the first round, 19th pick overall. It just shows you what God can do, right? That's ultimately what it did. And to have that sense of gratification towards him, uh, his blessings, and then being able to share that with my family. That's why I says it's a surreal moment. That moment right there itself was just surreal, just because the journey that it was taken. Like a guy only started in one college game, only played in 25, hurt his junior year, still leaves to go into the draft, and God finds a way to still bless me in that way. You know, so that's why I say that it's a humbling It's a surreal moment. It's a gratification moment. It's a grateful moment. It's a uh, understanding of loving of his love and kindness.
And I can
That's
tell,
what it was.
and I can tell that that moment, I guess, to be expected lives with you, but I can tell that that moment really, really still lives with you, Crow. And that's big time. So you leave the moon, jump on the helicopter, go to. We see the stories. Head to
Yeah,
San Diego. I mean, you have a phenomenal deal. You rip it up out in San Diego, and I'm just going through the career. You lead the league one year in interceptions. Uh, to this date, you have the longest touchdown return in NFL history. They say 109. I'm saying it's as close to 110 as you can get.
yeah.
Uh,
I say the same thing. I call it 110.
yeah, you can get to 110. And then, I got to think if it was in this era, I think they would have let it play on, but we would have been on a 15-minute review because they would have had all kind of cameras making sure you didn't step out of bounds because you were that close. But
Yeah.
that's a record, man, that I think you'll have forever, as long as there's a football game to be played. Uh, you rip it up. I mean, you have a solid career in San Diego. Uh, what what led to them sending you to New York?
We was on different paths. Uh, I didn't like the change in certain things that they were doing, and I let my voice be heard about it. I was very vocal about it, um, and it was time for a change for me too. Um, didn't like the change that was going on there, and it was just like I said. I let that be heard through the organization. I felt like they didn't take care of our players when we was injured. When we got injured, I felt like I was mishandled 2008 with my injury. Like we had some turmoil after the 2008 season. I thought I was gonna be traded after that season. Um, no, I mean dead serious. It was straight talks. I was supposed to be. It was straight talks that was happening, but they didn't go through. Um, so for me, it was a lot of uh, being distant from the organization. And at that summer of when we came back of not that '09 season, I never was there. I was never there for OTAs. I only showed up for mandatory minicamp. I would show up on Mondays to get my rehab with the doctors, and then I'll leave and go back up to LA where I trained at. So that's the only time they saw me was on Mondays. And then after that, I would come down. I came down for mandatory minicamp, which we had, and that was it. So there was a lot of turmoil between me and the organization, and it was time for a change. And um, it worked out for the best for both of us. They got a second round draft pick because we made it to the playoffs, and I made it to the AFC Championship game for a second time in my career, playing that 2010 season with the Jets. So that's what really led to it. It was just a lot of turmoil between me and not the ownership, but the GM.
Hindsight, would you change any of that?
No, no. And the reason I say no is because if we're not vocal and trying to take care of ourselves and be and voice our opinions on certain things that we see, then it'll never correct itself. It'll never help anybody else. That's the next generation that's coming into it. It'll never make anybody open their eyes and see what they actually are doing wrong. Um, we all get pointed out for our flaws and what we have, but it's about us trying to figure out how we can handle those flaws and correct our flaws of what we have to make us a better person. And that's really what it was really all about. You just point out the flaws of what we have in our organization and going from there.
Go, go, go from one coast to the other coast.
Hmm.
Speeding through because I know I got to get you out of here. Um, you in that NFL is done. At what point did did the bug start to get on Crow about wanting to coach?
Since I was playing,
Okay,
we real
go ahead.
with you. Since I was playing, I always wanted to coach. That's something that I always told myself when I got done playing ball. I wanted to go coach, whether it was high school, whether it was college, whether it was pro stuff, I just wanted to coach. That's something always wanted. I just felt being able to have this knowledge, have this experience of the game, these life experiences, uh, why not try to help somebody else? Like I wish that we had that. Like I had that growing up when you had guys like Tamarick Vandover, Ron Dugans, um, Corey Fuller, and other guys that's played in the league that's from Tallahassee, but they never really came back and helped within the community, right? They never really did anything where you have football camps or they had mentorships or anything. It was never that. Everybody was still for themselves. Everybody was still out doing their thing and trying to be relevant. You know, for me, I knew when I was done, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to coach because I felt like the more I can give back and maybe change another kid's life, change his aspects, mentor him, understand that part of it. That's one person that, I've had discipleship with basically, and that I help change or help along the way to be the young man or the husband that he needed to be at that time. And I think that's what coaching is supposed to be about. Like that's what I learned from Mickey Andrews, Coach Bowden, Marty Scheinheimer. Those are the things I learned from them, about being accountable for who you are and just trying to make sure that everybody around you, um, is doing as good as you or better.
So you get that, you have that all the way through your playing career. So what is your tie to Coach Fisher? Because Coach Fisher, if I'm not mistaken, is the first to, I guess, give you an opportunity to get into the business, so to speak. What's your tie with Coach Fisher?
Man, honestly, when he took over as a job, actually when he came in as the OC, I always came back home, and he was one of the first guys I met. Had a great relationship with him. Always invited me back when he became the head coach. Always talked on the phone. And when I told him I wanted to get into coaching, it actually took him a year or two to actually bring me on because he just didn't know how. Honestly, this because I moved to Houston in 2018, so he had just got the job, in College Station. So I was always talking to him, and I told him I wanted to get into coaching, but his whole thing was he didn't know me being fresh off retiring and everything else how I would gel with everybody, or how everybody would gel with me. So uh, it took a year or two, and then I think 2021, they gave me a call after the Orange Bowl game. I was like, "Hey, we want you up here." I was like, "All right, cool. Listen. I'm 45 minutes away. I will be there." 'Cause that's how far College Station is from where I stay in Houston. It's basically 45 to 50 minutes. And I was like, man, I'm ready to go. And I appreciate Coach for even giving me the opportunity, to be able to go out there and actually learn some things, but also understand that how this coach's business really works and how things you may not be liked by everybody because your relationship with certain people or certain kids, or you understand that part of it, but you just got to try to keep moving and keep trying to do one thing and one thing only, and that's be there for the kids. And it's not about uh it's not about the coaches. Really honestly, it's about understanding these kids and making sure that they have success, because if they have success, we all have success. And if we continue to have success, everybody else find better jobs, or they get elevated, or they do certain things. And that was my perspective.
And you talk about 45, 50 minutes in that Houston traffic, Crow. Either you're really 15 minutes away or you're an hour and 30 away. Because I know
No, no.
that.
Listen, everything here is 30. Everything here is 30 to 35 minutes away. That's just what it is. But for me, going to the College Station, I'm not going towards Houston. I'm going away from Houston. So I never ran into traffic.
Okay, okay. Because I was about to, in my mind, when you said that, I instantly went to, oh my goodness, ain't no way. Not
Nah,
that.
I'm north of Houston, so I'm going like northwest of Houston, going to the College Station. So I've never touched the Houston traffic.
Man, thankful, thankful. So we're wrapping up, man. Let you get on. Um, your name in the HBCU sector was linked to, at one point in time, to the Texas Southern uh, how real was that, or was that
It-
just something that was out?
no, it was real. It was real.
Okay,
It was something that I really tried to go after. Had some good talks with some of the administration people there. Um, it was something I really wanted. I mean, I felt like me being here in Houston, me being able to recruit Houston, being around the coaching staff, the high school coaching staff that's been here, having great relationships with them. I thought it would have been the perfect thing for it, just because I had great relations with everyone that was here, and not only here but also in Dallas. That I can go in and go recruit too. I mean, I don't think realistically, man, when you're recruiting Houston, you ain't got to really leave Houston. If you're a school in Houston, you don't have to go on the outskirts of Houston to go anywhere because you have everything here. That's the God honest truth. I can go from here, I can go here and go to Dallas. Like, you don't have to recruit outside of Houston in some areas as a Texas Southern school. Like, if you just recruit Houston, you will win a lot of football games. I've seen that and I've learned that just from doing that.
so with that, let me. How do I put this? So because with Coach Vic being named, with Coach Jackson being named, with the situation with Coach George, and of course Coach Prime. Uh, how would it be? Because you just told me, but how would it be? Because everybody would look at you as a celebrity hire.
Mhm.
What sets Crow away from that, other than the Texas A&M? Take the Texas A&M off the table, because a lot of people don't know that about you.
Yeah.
Take the Texas A&M situation off the table, and then someone comes in and says, "Oh, here we go with another celebrity hire at Texas Southern." How do you? I don't want to say rebuttal that, but what sets you away from the celebrity hire tag?
I'm a football coach. Like, I'm not just like, yes, my name and what it brings, what it could bring when it talks about revenue, when you're talking about fundraising, yes, that stuff is gonna help. Your name, celebrity name, whatever you want to call it, is gonna help. That's just what it is. You can't separate yourself from saying it's a celebrity name that's been you cannot. It's not a point of saying don't try to run from it. Use it to your advantage. It's a way that you can raise money, get stuff in, be able to bring a better staff on, that understands that what you're trying to do, you're trying to not only just elevate yourself, but elevate everyone that you're bring along with you, and elevate these kids to understand that there's better things that you can do that's out there. I think as a football coach, period, and I think a lot of people look at me and it's like, oh man, he just played defensive back, right? He doesn't know anything on the offense side of the ball. For 11 years, I had to study offenses. For 11 years, I had to be around offensive coordinators and understand offensive coordinators, how they think and how they move and how they do certain things. So for me, when you say, oh, well, he's just a defensive guy, I'm not just a defensive guy. I'm a football coach. I played offense, I played defense at the highest level that you can possibly play. I was coached by some of the best coaches on the defensive side of the ball, from Todd Bowles to Rex Ryan to um, um, Ron Rivera, uh, oh my God, to Wade Phillips on the defense side of the ball. But I also had some great receiver coaches. I had James Lofton in San Diego. I've had guys that have taught me and make me understand the game, and not just the offense and defense side of the ball, but also special teams. I played in all three areas at the highest level, and I loved it. So when you're looking at me as just being, hey, he's a celebrity guy that may not know anything. No, I know everything when it comes to recruiting. I understand how to recruit. I understand what areas that you have to recruit, because that's just like, if it essentially, for instance, my name was put in for the Tennessee State, right? If I'm in the Tennessee State, okay, I'm a defensive guy, but who can I hire as an offensive coordinator that's more offensive minded, but understanding that I do know offenses, right? You got to find an offensive minded guy. You got to find somebody that can get the most out of the kids, someone that can come in and recruit and do the things he's supposed to do. That same thing for every position that you have, because I always say this: a coach is only as good as his assistants, and the more as good as if you're the smartest one in the room, and you're not, your team is not going to go far, right? Everyone has to be on one common goal. Everyone has to understand one thing and one thing only. And that common goal is what we're trying to accomplish as a unit, as a coaching unit, and as our players. And they see us on one unit. How do you think the players are going to act on one unit? If we all have one goal and no one is speaking out against anything or any of the goals that we're trying to do because they got one foot in and one foot out the door because they're looking at the next opportunity, how does that help? And that's the thing. When you hire coaches, you need coaches there. Yes, there's going to be opportunity there if you win, but I need you to be where your feet are at
Mm,
all times.
mm.
So hire a staff that's going to elevate you to make you a better coach, but also that's going to elevate the players and mentor the players outside of the football game, because the whole plan of this game, and for me, it's not just to build a football player, but to build a whole man. And when you can build a whole man, that's building that young man to be a pillar of his community. That's a guy that's you building him to be a great husband, a great father, a great son. All that doesn't deal with football. Football is already going to give you enough. It's going to give you a lot of life, a lot of life lessons inside of football. So how can we teach him to learn from those lessons and add that same work ethic that he's putting into this football into his life? And when you get that, that's how you build a whole man. And that's what you want to do. You want to build the whole man, not just a football player, because these kids are meant to be mentored every single day of their life. Our job is to develop them every single day of their life. We got them. We're going for the next 3-4 years. We're gonna see them more than our own kids. They're gonna see us more than they see their own parents. And if we sit here and promise their parents that we are supposed to take care of them, why would we lie? And that's the thing that a lot of coaches, and I've seen myself do, right? I've seen coaches do that. And I'm like, "Man, why? Just tell the kid the truth. If he's not a good player and you don't think that he's a fit, tell him. But don't lie to the kid because he's a 5-star and you just want him here because it look good on your resume. If he's not a fit, he's not a fit. Recruit the things that you have to that's going to fit your system, but also recruit players that if you got one that's a dog or as I say a wolf, then you have to change your defense to the player. You have to have coaches that can change their defense to equate to what the players do well. And if you don't have that, that doesn't make sense. Your defense only runs well if the guys buy into it, but also if you change the methods of some of the things that you do to help them play at a very high level. Because I'm all about playing their best, do what they do best 85% of the time, and the other 15% we can critique, we can live with. But
Yeah,
85% of the time, we can adjust. We can the other 15% we can adjust to some of the things that you need to try to do that we need to work on, but we'll develop those over the next 3 to 4 years. We have time to develop those so far we can make you a complete player. So how can we adjust to that and make that person or this team be everything they need to be for us at this point in time? And now you got to make adjustments. You got to learn how to make adjustments on the run. You got to learn how to make adjustments to make sure that they are buying into it and understand that this defense or this offense or the special teams is ran by them, not by the coaches, because the players make the plays. We only give the orders.
that's it.
That's it.
That's it. So I heard you say Tennessee State. We ain't gonna go into that. But before we get out of here, I got a couple questions for you. We'll end the show with this. Uh, NIL, how much is AC getting?
How much is who getting
You,
for NIL?
yep. If you're playing
Eh,
in the day of NIL, what are you getting? What are you getting per year?
You know what? I couldn't even tell you.
Carson
It,
Beck
it,
get
it might it might be somewhere between $600,000-700,000 a year.
okay. We'll say 700. What is Ward Dunn getting in NIL? And I'm using
Ooh,
Seminole.
I'd probably say 800. I'll say somewhere between 500 to 800,000.
5 to 800. Charlie Ward,
About $3-4 million a year.
Terrell Buckley.
T-Buck. I'll get T-Buck. I'll probably say about $1 million a year.
And we're gonna end it with number 5. What is Prime getting? Prime ran track, he played baseball, and he did football. What Prime getting in NIL?
There might not be no table for Prime. Man, Prime might be out here getting like $4-5 million a year, man, if not more.
Hey, if Carson Beck gets 6, I know he in that area. Ain't no doubt about it.
Listen, he got a 1 year $6 million deal.
1 year. 1 year. Think about that, Crow. But anyway, man, if people want to follow you, man, because that's, me and you kind of connected. I met you a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, man, it was so much better back in the day. All the old guys used to come back and have their foundation or their charity weekend, celebrity basketball game, and then, that runs into a golf tournament, starts Friday, Saturday, ending with a big deal on the moon.
Always at the moon.
Yeah, Saturday night, used to do it all Florida guys. So 1 year would be in Gainesville because one of the Florida players would do it, Willie Jackson, not all those guys. And the next year would be in Tallahassee. You mentioned a long time ago during that. But then I recently saw you again, connected with you through Twitter with some of your sessions that you're kind of putting out. If people want to kind of come check it out, check you out, how can they find you, man?
Man, first off, man, I appreciate it, man. The band on here it's been great. We got some fun talking there, but I think the biggest way to connect to me, I'm actually getting ready to start my YouTube channel. It's going to be called 1331 DB Talk, which I'll start a little bit of right now, but I actually get more consistent with it. But on social media, man, if you got questions, you want to talk to me, I'm at Crow31 on X, at Crow31, and on Instagram, it's at Antonio Cromartie 31. And that's the ways people want to connect with me any type of way. If you want to talk ball, learn experience, learn whatever you want to learn from a football aspect. Those are the 2 best ways to get in contact with me.
Crow, I think, man, you need to do a camp, man. I got the receivers, you got the DBs.
Anytime you want to, I got them.
Let's put it together, brother. You heard it here first.
I got to come to the SIP.
I say we do one both ways, or even 3 ways. Back at the crib.
Or you can go back at the crib.
We come to the SIP. We do one over there in Texas. I mean,
we can do that.
31-21 camp, baby. Let's
do that. We can do that.
We're going to talk offline. Y'all heard it here first. It's coming.
All right, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, too.
Follow.
All right,
man, got y'all out of here. A little over an hour, but I hope you got something from the 2 guests. We'll be back again next Wednesday with a drive at 5. We're just going to continue to get better, man. Going to continue to get better. And again, as we say at the end of every show, with the chaos that's going all around you, relax. Keep it all on the table. Holla.
What's going on, guys? I'm Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. I'm here with Coach Fred and my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let you guys know that Twin P is official liquor, the Common Man Podcast. Bottoms up, Twin P, best. Gotta drink some more.